Manny, can't all be good news this week. We can't just be excited. Anything happen on Twitter? Anything going on in the old Twitterverse? Anybody whose mouth should remain closed suddenly open to spew forth ridiculousness?
Well,
Is
everybody's
that a good?
favorite
You like
former
that?
president,
You like that
Mike
segue?
Ybarra, decided that even when a broken clock is right, maybe you shouldn't have been looking at it at all. Because Mike Ybarra decided to tweet out
Let me read
that.
it. Can I read it? Can I read it?
Okay, yeah, let's have you read it. Go ahead.
Do a pretty mean Mike Ybarra impression.
Oh, I've never actually heard him speak. I've only read his words. Let's hear it.
Yeah, here we go. Ready? I really think Warcraft Mob Remix is a fantastic, amazing idea. Really cool. That said, if Blizzard does this again, they need to address the quality issues. Can't really explain some of the bugs and issues in this. Quality has to remain job number one at Blizzard.
Okay. And so the community did not like this. There was a lot of comments about it being tone deaf. A lot of people pointing to Ybarra's own history of having been the man in charge when QA was slashed multiple times. And also the reports of him at a meeting saying that quality assurance wasn't really a career path in the industry at all, and just devaluing
not a
QA.
long-term discipline.
Yes.
This is not a long-term discipline. Yeah.
So a lot of people claimed a lot of hypocrisy on that. And without looking at the messenger, I would love for Blizzard to take this to heart. To be like, hey, quality should be the number one thing. And we want to make sure that we're bringing out like a really nicely polished experience. This is like the Blizzard quality of old that people keep talking about. Their betas feel like finished games and yada yada yada. All of that. Yeah, I would love that. But like, you cannot ignore that this is coming from Mike Ybarra.
Yeah, everybody like Twitter, like as a collective whole, Twitter was like, "Bro, are you for real?" And I don't think he's wrong. Quality assurance should be one of the most protected and supported teams in game development. They do so much, they offer so much, and they are irreplaceable. You can tell when a game launches that had a good QA team versus when a game launches that had poor support for their QA team. Not necessarily that the QA team was poor, but that the support for them was poor. That being said, either you've never read open Twitter and Reddit since you left the company, or you are completely oblivious to the fact that your opinions right now are always going to be taken in the worst possible light when it comes to World of Warcraft and anything at Blizzard. To send this tweet, he's obviously not paying a PR company because there's no chance they would have sent this. So we know he at least tweets his own stuff. And everybody piled on. And everybody pointed out, the layoffs and a lot of stuff like that. And there was one, I never read the original tweet, but the individual deleted it and apologized for writing it afterwards. And the response that Mike wrote, I'm going to read his response. I don't know what the tweet said, but I imagine it was along the lines of, bro, come on. And his response was, and I'm going to read this like a real human being and not like an asshole. In my time at Blizzard, we raised wages for QA 3 times out of normal cycle across 4 years, as they had been underpaid at Blizzard for years before I was there. QA also wasn't impacted when I was there in reductions, but was driven by what game team leadership said they needed to be successful. That's the way it should be, and those teams should be accountable to deliver for players in aggregate. Also, my guess is you haven't shipped many games, but maybe you have. These decisions on quality are not driven by QA. I'm sure Blizzard QA has hundreds of bugs filed against MOP, but it's the designers who make the decision on when to ship and with what bugs. My post was directed at them to listen to their QA teams and to address the bugs they find versus ignoring or punting them. Ask anyone in Blizzard QA how much they're listened to on design elements, You'll quickly see one of the core issues the teams have that needs to be turned around. It's often easy to criticize, and society moves straight to that without facts and just about everything these days, just like you did here. Good luck, Tom. And I saw a Blizzard dev respond to this who was like, we don't set release dates as devs. That comes from above, Mike. Yeah. So anyway, he's right. Quality assurance has to be top tier. And while I have not personally encountered bugs in MoP Remix, I have heard that there are some weird ones and some things that happen. That being said, you have to be able to read the room. I don't know what, like, imagine you're a major game publishing company now or game developer. He's poisoned to touch right now. Like, and with every tweet like this, it gets worse. I don't understand. I've never seen. He was universally, almost universally adored by the community and embraced when he got voted to presidentship. Is that a word? Presidentship?
When he got the presidency.
Presidency. And the fall from grace has been meteoric. It's wild to see how quickly he dropped. I don't know. Good luck, Mike.
Well, I kind of want to turn the conversation away from the person and more towards QA.
Yeah, okay.
Because, like, you're right. It's just this splinter here because he's not doing anything for his own personal brand. He has done a lot to destroy that brand since leaving the company. But in terms of QA, and he's right, there are definitely a ton of bugs that were flagged that are known, and they will get put way down in priority for a number of reasons. It might be that it is not considered a game critical bug because it doesn't crash the system. It might be that it's not a game critical bug because it is incredibly hard to replicate, right? And you could think of something like the lockout trick. That might have been something that they discovered and said, hey, you know what? Like, we can't afford the resources to address it because they felt that it was too hard to replicate, that it might not have been found. And then as soon as it was discovered, well, they already have the documentation on how to do it, and they were ahead of the game a little bit. But for us players, that doesn't feel good. And I'm sure there are a bunch more bugs that are out there that the player base hasn't discovered, but Blizzard is aware of. And which one of those do you decide, hey, that's the one that needs to be targeted? While they're fixing that bug, this other bug then gets exploited. And it's this really weird thing of whack-a-mole. And like, I want to both bring up the specter of the spaghetti code of WoW because it's such an old legacy game, and now you're going back to systems that were in place from over a decade ago, supplanting a bunch of new systems on top of that. My takeaway from this is that maybe Blizzard needs to stop doing the stuff in a black box. Like, we thought that it was going to be cool at the end of Shadowlands and such, and the final boss and that, and they've been doing more things without testing it on PTR. Maybe it's time for that to stop. Maybe it's time to bring that PTR more out there. What do you think of that?